Who is Henrik? And who is this? One question at a time, folks. I only have one larynx. This is Ted, my lovely assistant for this intro. Ted was yanked off the highway not moments before an 18-wheeler blew past. He's going to hang out with me for a couple days, get fattened up, and released into the safety of our woods. Nice to see you, Ted. Thank you. Henrik, on the other hand, is a double DRJ, a decorated Danish rock journalist and author of this phenomenal book, Pearl Jam, The More You Need, The Less You Get. When this book arrived in the mail, I dutifully placed it on my nightstand where it stared at me for a week. I stared back as it beckoned me to open it. And there it sat, because I feared this book would hold yet another third-hand account of all the musical lore that folks like you and me and Henrik hold so very dear but have heard so many times that it already sits deep in the structure of our musical bones. To my great delight, this book is something that I did not even close to suspect. Is that a sentence? And my first thought was that surely there is a non-zero number of folks in the audience who need this book and who don't even know it yet. Pardon me while I read from my Etch-a-Sketch here. Henrik's book is an intimate account by an adept and nimble sentence baker of the numerous behind-the-scenes experiences he had with his good friends and our favorite five. Much like the way an unhurried gaze into the stars or out at the ocean can give you a new perspective on things, this book has given me an all-new perspective on my favorite band. For behind the seemingly cohesive penning of songs that get us by the boo-boo time and time again with what seems like surgical and precise aim, there's five guys. Five guys and all that that entails. Reading this book made me appreciate every single Pearl Jam album even more than I already did, because let's face it, getting anything done is very unlikely, so making something as perfect as Yield might as well be subject to the Fermi paradox. And lastly, before we get going here, Henrik is giving away 3 signed copies of this book. All you have to do to enter the raffle is to send me an email with the answer to this question, which you will know once you watch the interview. What is a winner when you have Stone over for dinner? And without any further ado, I hope you enjoy my very good time with now craziest friend, Henrik Tuxen. I do apologize for the technical difficulties and how choppy my end of the video is, but that's okay, you see enough of me. Anyways, buckle up.
This works?
It works. Henrik, it's really nice to speak with you. I've been looking forward to this very much.
Oh, likewise. We had a good warm-up.
That's right, we did have a very good warm-up.
Good common passion there. I like that.
So, yeah, I'll just say that if you say anything that you wish you wouldn't have said or whatever, just make a funny motion.
Okay, yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, I feel really good now, but actually I didn't want to say it ahead of time, but I had to cancel I had to sort of scratch in the middle of that tennis game because I've been sick, and I thought I was fine, but I was not. So
well, I'm sorry to hear that.
But I feel it's this is different, and it feels good. It's just I didn't want to cause a fuss. We canceled last week, but I'm sure I'll be fine. But just to let you know, if all of a sudden we'll. Yeah.
if you fall asleep.
Yeah.
I will understand.
If I be a little bit like the parrot, in the shop, and not like and even if you put 5 million volts through me and nothing happened, then we'll do it tomorrow.
Absolutely, I'm 100% flexible. Okay. So I will have already given you a nice intro for this video. For this wonderful book. So I want to start off with a question. My father is disarmingly innocent, and so I would like to ask you a question that he asks everyone he meets for the first time, and that is simply, what is your favorite thing to have for dinner?
My favorite thing to have to dinner? Oh, now I have my girlfriend is a vegetarian, and that kind of affected me a little bit, but that also means that if I go somewhere, I kind of order the meat. What I really like is if I have a place with a red curry with duck. I really like
red curry with duck. That's.
I think I stick with that.
That's much more. much more sophisticated than my liverwurst sandwich answer.
Yeah. More.
And delicious. And the other thing I would like to take care of just real quick before we get into it is just a quick musing, but I would like to just point out that doesn't it seem, about a conversation we were having earlier, doesn't it seem like there were more botanists per politician capita in 1922 than today?
I think that's a pretty safe bet. I think that.
Do you think botanism or botanists, it's becoming a less interesting topic, or there's just more option? Maybe it was just like, I'm a botanist or I play, squash, and that was it or something.
I'm just pretty sure that the new center for botanism, that'd be North Carolina.
Yes, there we are.
I think that's the, so you're in charge, simply.
Okay, excellent. No pressure, no pressure. All right, so as I said to you in my email, I know that there are many, many people who watch my channel who need this book, who don't know that it exists.
Well, that's kind of you to say that. That would be great. I'd say it's really, what can you say, like labor of love and all that. And we are just a small unit, and we communicate with whoever we can, and it goes by, mouth by mouth, word to word, web by web, and so it has this sort of underground flow, and it's really nice if it can hit some. You hit some waves sometimes, and you get a bit.
Give it some attention.
You don't really know.
We'll find out. You'll have to let me know. As I said, when it arrived, it stared at me for a week because I was really worried that it was going to be that same Pearl Jam. But we all know the story, right?
Yeah.
But I was so pleasantly taken by it because, for people like me and a lot of my friends and folks I interact with on YouTube, for us, Pearl Jam is, for lack of a better word, it's one of our religions. It's like the lore captures us, and there is lore in here, that we would never have been able to have had you not written this book. I would just like to hand you that statement and see what comes out of your mouth after I said that.
Well, I'm super grateful for what you say, and I think that I had a story to tell, and I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of quite a bit of stuff in that book that some of the Pearl Jam members wouldn't know.
Yeah,
and because it's from what I've seen, and I just. Exactly what you say. Everybody knows the story, off ramp, 22nd, Mookie Blaylock, blah blah blah, and grunge, and all that. And so what I say, so what can I add something here? And I say, okay, I choose sort of to not to write the biography, but to see. I just write from what I see and what I've experienced, and my kind of angle, and I've seen some things, and that and they backed me up and really supported me to write the story, both Stone Gossard and on behalf of Pearl Jam, and then also very importantly the relatives, the family of the victims of Roskilde festivals, which are a big part of the story. So in that way, I'm just throwing it in there, and hope that it's my story, and that's that's what I've seen, and my logic has been that, okay, if something incredibly great happened with Pearl Jam in Oklahoma and something really, really important, was I there? No. Well, I don't write about it. Did something happen in Buenos Aires? I was there. I write about it.
Yeah, because it's so dense a topic that you could take just a few things, and so you don't need to write about everything. That book would be this big. There would be no reason to write that book.
Yeah, I mean, I think I didn't do any interviews, and that was also on purpose. I did actually only one. I did an interview, and that was not to jump to sort of the topic, but there was not. I mean, meaning that I didn't do interviews, I just sort of went along with it, and the people I met and spoke to, and of course also some that came from me being a journalist from stuff I've written before, but it was sort of a, can you say, like something I decided to also keep it strict, not to go out and do specific interviews. But I did in the case of security on the Roskilde Festival. I interviewed this expert because I thought that the statement that were being saying was so heavy upon the guards at the Roskilde Festival. And I thought they kind of needed a voice, but that's the only kind of slight exception. Else, it's just what I've seen and sort of very much in the footsteps of Pearl Jam, which was the first book, and I'll Ride the Wave Where It Takes Me kind of style.
Yeah. I want to make it really clear for anyone watching this video right now that I was surprised at the wealth of experience you've had literally firsthand with Pearl Jam, which is always really fun. You know, a couple of little things have happened to me where I felt like I was in the club for like a day. And I think reading this book, you know, is going to make anyone feel like they're in the club.
That's cool. That's cool. It's a good club to be in. I'm very happy to be in that club. I tell you that.
Yeah.
For much more reasons than music.
Right. Oh, absolutely. They are, the more you learn and even interact a little bit, they are truly what you see is what you get. Yeah. And I also want to say just really quick, so it's said that I was really moved by the fact that this book is clearly at least a little bit a tribute to, you know, those folks and those families who unfortunately suffered at that event.
Yeah, that was just important to me to maintain all the time and to also remember. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, sometimes I was there at this tragedy, and of course right after it was just, you know, it filled everything, and like now it can also be, I can almost, you know, make sure I can almost get a professional knowledge about it because it's such a long time ago and I've talked about it a lot and I've written about it. And then it's also really important for me to, at various times, to sort of, you know, take a breath and remember what is this about and what actually happened, and just to never forget it, or to remember those people and actually being aware of the, you know, the tragedy, the heaviness of this tragedy, and yeah, respect it, and also what we can learn from it, of course.
Yeah, that was beautifully said. Beautifully said. Let's lighten the mood a little bit. What? Yeah. What was the, no, that was perfect. But moving along. This is an important question because I have a definitive answer for this, and maybe you don't. But the question is, what Pearl Jam song first got you by the boo boo?
That must be Rearview Mirror.
Good choice. Very good choice.
That was because actually I have to say, like, even though it is the biggest band for me, and obviously now it's very different. I can't really separate it from the friendship or the people, and what's the activity, what's the songs, what are all the experience with the band members, and what is the friendship and things. But I wasn't really that hooked on 10 when it came out. I thought it was good, you know, but I thought, you know, for instance, Nevermind was a lot better and interested me a lot more. But I remember listening to, when the Versus came out and I heard Rearview Mirror, and I was like, wow, this is good. You know, this is really good. Yeah. And then, so they were there. But it wasn't until I saw the first show in '96, but that was actually, I kind of got that switch. Like, I've never seen anything like that. I had that within the first 3-4 minutes, and it was like, you know, one of those moments, and you doubted a little later, was that true or what? But it turned out to be true. But Rearview Mirror, that was the first one.
That one hits really hard. So has that stayed true, or do you? I know it's hard to pinpoint one, like it would be like picking your favorite turtle or something for me. But do you have one favorite Pearl Jam song, you know, now?
I think the good thing I like about the catalog is that I think that there's so many of the songs. You have a song that speaks to almost every mood you'll have, or every situation you'll be in, or where you're at in your life, and then that way it also has changed a lot for me. So like Light Years became like this really big song for me, because that really captured the tragedy, and there was something in Eddie's voice and all that. But I can't say that I've listened, I heard Light Years a lot, for a while.
Right.
But I'd say like the Rearview Mirror, that was that I've never, that's like the ultimate energy compiled into 4 minutes and 44 seconds.
I like that you know that.
I know, one thing, when I used to live in a place where I had like 35 minutes on bike to work, but if I heard like Versus, or if I heard Metallica, if I heard Songs for the Deaf or something, I'd be there 5-10 minutes early.
That's hilarious.
And one thing I know about, another thing about it, I really remember about, experience I had with Rearview Mirror is like, if I needed to boost my energy, I just needed to hear that song. And for like 8 years or something, I lived with my family, we lived in the house in the park, and it was just kind of pretty weird we lived there, but we did. So anyway, I was at home alone, and it's like, kind of crank it up, and all of a sudden I was just, it was like the walls were blasting, and all of a sudden, like, I kind of forgot about it. All of a sudden, like, the cat is just going mad, just up and down the walls, because I think it was a little loud, but I think we got energized, both me and the cat. But I think
it works.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed it more than the cat. Redhead Tuxen, which it was called, was not that happy with it.
Oh, that's really funny. So one more tiny question in this sort of thought strand. What's your go-to sing and play Pearl Jam song?
If I sit at home and if I play sit at home and play guitar stuff, I think I always had a really good time sitting and playing Corduroy, because that for me probably is the most. I think that's probably usually if people ask me what if you pick one song sort of, symbolizes or tells the full story of the band. If you pick one song, I kind of always like Corduroy, because I think it has many of the qualities of Pearl Jam compiled into one song, like the obvious sonic use, like alternative, all that, and then these really weird lyrics, really like strange stuff, and still that extremely catchy chorus, and then like 3-4 guitars just going mad at the same time, so I kind of really like sitting along playing. If I just sit and fool around with the guitar, I can really dig that. And I played with a cover band in Chile where we played that, and it was really fun. I played guitar there. It just took, like you had this, like 4 years, what pops up on Facebook, like 4 years ago today or something. And I think it popped up when we played it, and it went a great time. I just arrived from Argentina the same day, and everything was just absolute chaos, and just got right in on stage with those guys, and we played that, and it was just, wow, this is great, just like, wow, this is fun.
Yeah, that's high energy. Hey, I figured out something in the bridge if you're playing by yourself, where the bridge, which is just those two.
Yeah.
And maybe you already figured this out, but you can get the at the same time if you go.
I've been trying to do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that I really like that. I love that beat part, because it has the melancholic sweetness, but it also has the heaviness, and I just been by coincidence in the car with my girlfriend who's had no music history like this, like me at all, but really understands these, is getting to know that and appreciate that through our meeting. And also, like, Stone really loves her. He's like, if you split with Hannah, I'll stay, I'm gonna be friends with Hannah, not with you anymore. He said. But anyway, we listened to Who's Next, and and then Keith Moon playing on Bargain, and how they end, and how the Orcs, John Entwistle is really up filling that, and just that craziness of those guys, those personalities, where you just they're so dysfunctional and still so much heart and so much surge and so much just trying to like Pete Townsend trying to sort of be the new Mozart or whatever, or compile all kinds of art forms into one, and Keith Moon just want to play surf and drink, and but still that that melancholic, or that feeling, or that that when you play this, when we play the B part there in the corduroy, I can really feel that there's a real thread there, and that's actually something that really struck me, because The Who has been extremely important for me, not just as a band, but my main past was like I was 13 years in a band with two guys from Seattle, and we were so up on The Who or the mod thing, and then I realized, like, years after I actually met Eddie for the first time, that how important Quadrophenia was for him, and how important The Who was. Well, and that was really wow. That's because it was exactly the same thing for me.
Yeah, so that's perfect for this segue here. Speaking of you being in a band, so your band, Sharing Patrol.
Yeah, it's a blast from the past now. I mean, we haven't, it was like 90, like we for real stopped in 1997.
Yeah,
but it has a really strong. It has a total tie to my knowledge of, can you say, Seattle, Pearl Jam, and now I've written this new book on punk rock, Kurt Cobain's see-through punk rock history, and that is Seattle has been my sort of second. It was even like my second home before I've been there, because I spent with those two guys who came from Seattle because they thought nothing was happening in the States, and when they left, they lived in a collective with Jeff Ament.
Yeah,
and he was absolutely unknown. And they say Jeff, he had a bed and 200 hardcore punk rock records. Yeah. That was his room.
Yeah, that's what you wrote in your book.
That's what they said.
that's the the legends and so forth that tickles our brains and hearts here. So Sharing Patrol, is that, there's a band on Spotify called The Sharing Patrol. Is that you guys?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So Rock and Roll Pest Control is you.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's us. And that's actually, that song is actually written by Scott, the guy, the Young Fresh Fellows. And if you know Kurt Bloch, who was also in the Fastbacks, and who was support band for Pearl Jam, and was like one of especially Eddie Vedder's absolute favorite bands, and one of those absolute total Seattle icons. That's the same people. Really. Yeah,
that was very clear.
And they even Young Fresh Fellows, they even wrote a song called The Sharing Patrol. And so ties are really close there. And actually, every time I meet Jeff Ament, it's like, I think his girlfriend is best friends with Jim Sangster, who's Johnny from our band's brother, and they also play in bands together with. They play in this band with what's his drummer from Mudhoney now. My memory's a little late. No, anyway, but they is like, Jim was in the Young Fresh Fellows that did the Sharing Patrol theme, or Rock and Roll Pest Control, and his best friend is Kurt Bloch, who is the best, along with is this icon in Seattle, and very good friends and very respected with all that, and what's been really helpful for me. It's really, my friendship with Kurt Bloch has been really helpful also in interviews. I mean, I interviewed Chris Cornell in 2016, like a year before he died, and he looked at my book and things and said, "How's Kurt doing? You know, how's Kurt Bloch doing? You know, what's he up to now?" And so there are these, you know, close ties underneath the, which is not necessarily in the height of fame, but there is all this under, What do you?
Right.
Under,
We only see the very top, but you guys.
Yeah, and so I'm really happy to know a lot of people. Can you say a little underneath, and also in the Pearl Jam organization, and and all these various input, and like I've been with the Sharing Patrol. We started when those guys, Johnny and Jonathan, they came here, and I met them in January 1984. So it was a long time ago.
That's funny that you had. That's funny that you had Johnny and Jonathan, because my band in college had 3 guys named Tom.
Okay.
So I got to say, I'm glad that was the right Sharing Patrol, because I really enjoy your band, and I gave it some listens.
Oh, cool.
And you know,
there's actually we have some older stuff and some other. We have nothing. Everything is not in there, and there's some stuff which I really like, which is not on. And we were gonna do a show or some reunion stuff and put it all on, but all of a sudden, you know how. I'm happy for what's there, but I would love. We're just gonna do that effort to get it all out, because we have some things which.
Well, I hope you do. Yeah, I hope you do. And of course, you probably know that mostly what I do on my YouTube channel is teach folks songs.
Yeah.
You know, and so from what's available for Sharing Patrol, I would like to do one. Do you have a favorite that I should do? A video?
Well, I think maybe you should do the one called "I Can Take You There."
Oh, it's beautiful. That song's so fun.
Because that is about, it is recorded in Seattle, and it's sort of the indirect title of the album, and it's about Seattle. I mean, the Emerald City, that's Seattle, and for me, we recorded that, and that, everything happened like in 1996. You know, we put out 2 records. We did that in studio album in January with Kurt Bloch in Seattle, and we put out a live record later, and that was the first time I started writing, because I was like a musician, so you know, and we were sort of in the punk mood, punk ideology, so the press was the enemy, right? That was the ones that couldn't play guitar. I still believe that, actually. That's still my sort of go-to thing. And that was the first time I met Pearl Jam and saw that, and I had my daughter Lulu just a little bit before, so it was a year that which I didn't know when the year started out, but it ended up setting the pace for lots of stuff, and also and so I think I've been playing that song. You know, I'm the bass player there, but I've been really enjoying like fooling around with the song and playing it in different ways, and I think that's sort of, and we're really happy with that record. Actually, the last one we did, because we were never successful in the sense of selling a lot of records, but we had a really good following in mostly Scandinavia, but also in Europe. But actually, when we stopped, we were sort of doing really well. So that was great. You know, we had a lot of like doing that live record and things. So I wouldn't say we stopped at the top, but kind of for us, which is a really good feeling. You know, like if you remember, like, okay, if you look back and okay, then we have these 5 really where everybody hated each other, nobody was interested in our shows or something. You know, if that was your memory, but like our memory is that of and also very much that the ending of Sharing Patrol really became like the starting of something new, and also really ties in with the story, because Johnny he moved back to Seattle, and he's been a musician there and a studio, and has his own studio, and he is also really the connection very much to Pearl Jam. I mean, when Stone reached out to me originally, that was through Johnny, and he recorded a lot with Mike McCready, and you know, he recorded 2 last Mudhoney records, I think, and so in that way, the ending of the band became kind of it kind of started this new thing. So that's, I like that, you know. It's part of my history, and it's very much part of my like, kind of, I grew up on the road, if you put it like that. We were like, it was us, the 3 of us. There was other people. There was another keyboard player for a while, but it was very much the 3 of us against the world, really. And for like 13 years, and I didn't think that much about it back then, but I can really see that as I grow, how important that is, how important all those years and that knowledge and how extremely directly that relates to, like, the stories I've written on Pearl Jam and what I've done as a music journalist, and this other book coming out here on punk rock, Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, as one door closes, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just want to tell you, because I think this will tickle you. I got a new car yesterday, and the first song I played in it was "I Can Take You There."
Oh wow, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, I have some very, very important questions for you. Number
I
one.
Imagine.
Number one, in your best estimation, how many Pearl Jam songs do you think Stone doesn't know what record they're on?
I think that'd be quite a bit, actually. I mean, he has to. He usually asks me, "Was that on that record?" And I said, "No, I don't think so, Stone." No. we actually, I'm saying, we did a quiz with him. It has not been. It's recorded, and it hasn't been aired for some different reasons. But I can tell you as much. He did with a friend of mine, Yuri, who lives here, and I've said to Stone, he will beat you anytime in a Pearl Jam quiz. And Stone was wrong. He was totally wrong on a couple of things, like how many times they played a song, and there was another time where you should guess who was not there at this recording, and then I think he guessed he was not there, but he was there. So I mean, his attention seemed to be focused more heavily elsewhere, if we could put it that way.
Sure. I mean, unimportant details, right? Was I there?
Yeah.
This isn't a question so much. I just really want to point out, I have a definitive favorite line in your book, favorite sentence, and it was about the soup, where you said you would have thought there were no bounds for how good soup could be. I loved your words there.
Oh, yeah.
So, do you have that?
It was a good soup, but it was like, okay, if you have your favorite rock star in the world coming to visit you at your home, would you serve soup and just soup? Well,
there's the moral. There's the moral for everybody watching. If Stone ever comes to your house for dinner, serve soup.
Serve soup. Yeah, that's you got it there. That's a key.
That's really funny. Okay, so I'm gonna say let's. I really enjoyed that whole conversation. But before we leave the world of Pearl Jam there with our thoughts, is there anything you'd like to say on that topic?
Well, I think it's kind of strange how sometimes I think it's kind of really weird to think about how, like, my main personal development or realization or knowledge as a middle-aged mature guy, how that is sort of entwined with the history of a rock band, and how weird is that? But that is really the case in many ways, because I really think that being so close to a first, I haven't seen Eddie for a while, but he was always, you know, we know each other in a way that I really, whenever he sees me, I can really, you know, he makes me know that very clearly. But Stone I have especially a lot of relationship with. But the fact that, yeah, the idea of role models, you don't think about that and you don't think about it that much in like your everyday, but the way about how to go about life, how to interact with other people, how to see things, how to, you know, be cool or be open, or and also how much it has meant for me, like, and not only just for me, but to be part of that, to be allowed to be a part of that story, and sort of I just see myself as like I'm just a mediator. Do you say that? Like, just I'll just I don't really take any. I don't even consider like ownership of this book is of any importance. That's for me is like not important. That's not what it's about. But it's about you can touch these different spirits. I can learn. I can pass on. Like, and all when we've been doing Kickstarter things and people are writing me and supporting and all that, and like my daughter travels in Australia and people come up and open her house and we let her let for free because they love Pearl Jam and they love and they appreciate what I've been writing, and the fact that she can actually pretty much travel the world and stay with people who, because of this. So and also with so that means, you know, it has become such it has enriched my life on a number of fields, if you can put it that way. And of course also like emotionally, intellectually, like, and also what can you do and the state of the world, and like being a part of the home shows in Seattle and the collection of 11.5 billion to homeless activities, and I had a really very long interview with Stone here in over 2 times here on Gigaton and all those and all those topics, and I was amazed. Like, okay, we've spoken so much, you know. I've written so much about them. I heard that band so much, and yet still, or maybe not even, I mean, yet maybe even because of that basic foundation, there's so much new to learn. There's so much more to do, and so to go back to the beginning, like how my life, how I've evolved, developed as a human being, how linked that is to also my interaction with the history of that band or something. I don't even know. So it's not so much about the songs and the music anymore in a way. Of course it still is, but it's more than that for sure. If that makes any sense.
No, I have, as you know, I have just the tiniest iota of experience with what you're talking about. So I do, and I want to thank you for, you know, putting it down to share with others, because you're right. You know, not every rock band in the world, or maybe even very few rock bands in the world, give you a role model. And I think that everyone watching this would agree, and I know you agree. I think we're probably just maybe a little bit better people in general for having Pearl Jam be such an important part of our life. So, incredible.
I remember like one thing when I did a speech on the Nordic Museum in Seattle on this book, and it was at the same time with this the home shows. I think I was there twice, and then and then a lot of people came up and want to have a signature and buy the book, and then came you know, the parents of Pearl Jam's long-term press head of press, which I know really well, and we talked about these those people were really not really nice. Those I mean, I don't even know, they're in the 70s or something, and we talked about Pearl Jam, and I remember the father of her saying, you know, yeah, those are the type of guys, you know, you like you like your kids to be like or be with, and I thought that was a real that was a real, like, a deep appreciation of just the people they are, what they communicate. And I mean, in that way, I also have a little bit of sometimes a little hard time with now that, like, some getting involved with all these Pearl Jam community, that people are so diehard fans, you know, like they get on the pedestal and all that, you know, seeing Eddie Vedder as a Jesus figure and something like that. And I just I don't think that's what it's about at all.
No,
really.
No.
And if I communicate that, like, oh, I met this guy, I'm so cool or something, then that's not what if I do that, then I think I do a bad job.
Yes. No, I agree with you. Yes, I totally agree. Okay. Man, I enjoyed all of that. That was really fantastic. Fun questions for you. Where's the first place you're gonna go once we can get on airplanes again?
I'm half Norwegian. I was just in Norway, and I really liked that. Was great. And I really, you know, I would like to. I had such great experience in South America with my friends, the Pearl Jam fans down there, and there's also some interest in putting out more books I've done, and I would love to see that happen. And also because I'm so it really hurts me to see what's happening in South America, like not to say that the pandemic or the coronavirus is. I mean, the progress there's been in South America for the past 20, you know, regardless of all what's not solved, but there has certainly been a lot of large group of people who've risen from absolute poverty to lower middle class, and now, like they say in the news here, what we see with pandemic could be like that progress would be erased. We'll be back to like the late 80s or something. And I think, like, I would just love to go back to see my friends in Chile and Argentina and maybe more, and hope, just, you know, I just wish the best for all those people, and it really and if Pearl Jam came to play there again, and I was a part of that, you know, that I would love. There's a lot of heart and soul in that. I would love that to happen again, and I would be really sad if that cannot happen for, like, I don't know, years.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate. Well, if you get a choice and you can make your layover Charlotte, we'll meet for lunch. Yeah,
that'd be good. Yeah,
keep that in mind.
For sure.
So of course we've you know, the not that anything about the global pandemic is good, but there is always a positive to be taken, and so we've had to reallocate our time. Of course, my question is, what have you done more of, taken up for the first time, with, you know, I assume you kind of work from home. I work from home, but there's still stuff we can't do. But have you taken up any new interests or started ballet dancing or?
Yeah, I have, actually. I mean, both professionally, we're gonna do a YouTube channel with some guitar stuff here and some artists which I've been asked to, and we've been looking into that with some really good friends. And but I think, like, on a personal level, I've audiobooks. That's been really big for me, and that's been philosophy, science, and like political biographies, and also, like, older stuff, like rereading Dostoevsky and things like that. And then I've been fixing up my apartment and and especially in the beginning, I was just walking a lot. You know, I'd be putting on like an audiobook, maybe, you know, Camus, Dostoevsky, chess novel. I was playing a lot of chess, and then I'll just walk out the door, and I was like, and maybe I'm just gonna go up to the supermarket, which is like 1.5 minutes, and buy some cheese and go back, or maybe I'll be back tomorrow. You know, but I really enjoyed that depth. I read all the, if you know, Harari, the Homo sapiens, Homo Deus, 21 things you should know about the 21st century, and so I've gotten pretty deep into thinking, I guess, and like being with that, and being more able to, being more able to, not so stressed about it. I just like, I've been more able to take it in for some reason, and I got to spend a lot of, you know, like people say, like, what's been good about this time is like, if you call people now, they answer the phone.
Yeah.
They're there. I mean, I'm in a meeting. I'm super busy. I'm in you know, I'm in Singapore. I'm in LA. You know, like, oh, you're home. So am I.
No, you're at home. That's right.
But
so I know. Yeah, go ahead.
And music too. You know, for a while I didn't listen. Sometimes I don't listen to music at all, like not at all. And other times I listen to music so much. And now I've just been in Norway with my girlfriend, and we went, we almost like entirely be listening to classical music. I was at Trollhaven in Bergen, where, you know Grieg, Edvard Grieg, the composer. Maybe you know.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and that like, which is from. And this is from the story, Per Gynt, which is a play by this writer, Henrik Ibsen. And all of a sudden, I see that played, and actually the guy who's playing it at Grieg's house, he's been teaching my mom, who was with me, piano lessons 50 years ago. But then I get totally into that, and then I realize also that the topic is about is super similar to like what I've been reading in Dostoevsky and Fear and Punishment, Crime and Punishment, and so that's really, I don't even know where I started on this, but that was like, yeah, that's what I got into. I think I get more. I tend to go a little deeper into things, not skip so fast to the next. When you know, I get interested in something, like for instance Grieg, there, you know, I'll read that play, or I'll read about it, or I'll read about the fairy tales they're based on. I try to, you know, and that maybe is a tendency I have, but I think that's been definitely not less in these times.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Great. So you've got another book coming out, so I'll have to read that, and we'll have to do this again in, you know, I don't know, 9 months or some amount of time. Doesn't matter when. Hopefully we won't be stuck at home then. But I have just two things before we wrap up. Do you have an ask or a request? Would you like to point the wonderful folks who have watched this long to some direction, something you'd like them to check out or do? You know, maybe a petition to sign, anything at all that you'd like to point folks at.
Well, I mean, I'm just really happy to be able to communicate and get this opportunity, and you know, this is the book, this is what you get, and I think you read what people are writing about it and the descriptions and what it says on the cover and the intro. I think it's pretty. That's what it is. I mean, that's it's considered an ongoing story, and I consider, you know, like, I hope I can communicate some spirit or pass some good thoughts on, some good and also, like, I'm also a Pearl Jam fan. You know, I'm not like I don't feel like I've come from like the Ebony Tower or whatever. Ebony
No,
Tower, that's what I call, right? And so I'm
that's
just,
very clear.
I definitely
Yeah.
consider myself an extremely regular guy.
Yeah.
But if anybody wants to contact me or my publisher, she lives in Detroit and everything is available. And I would love to go over and communicate more on also in person, but that's not possible at the moment.
Of course.
So, but definitely, I mean, if the tour goes on next year, as we hope, for sure in Europe, but also in America, I hope to get involved somehow. And because I also got a new, that's a great thing. I got a lot of good new stuff, which is not, was after the deadline, which was you written. So I think we put on like a 2021 edition and put
Nice.
that out. We're talking about that, and that's not unrealistic at all. And maybe do that when hopefully the tour will get back on track in the spring.
That's great. Well, if there's ever anything I can do for you, please don't ever be shy.
That's great. Thanks, Ryan. That's thanks for reaching out. And and also want to thank Kara, who put us in contact.
Yes, Kara,
the great, sweet Canadian, our friend there, who's up in the.
I call her my channel mom.
Oh,
she is in charge of making sure I'm aware of things. That's her job. That's her job.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You need some.
Yeah, I need some help because I'm with the headphones and figuring out songs for hours, and then I'm like, that's it. Yeah. I'm not doing this anymore.
But Ryan, I also like to ask you something. How your interaction with Stone there? I remember talking with Stone about that.
Okay. All right. Let's go there.
He picked up your song.
I need to know what you heard. I need to know exactly how your end went down.
I mean, I think I'm not surprised. It's pretty typical. Like Stone wouldn't remember, even the songs he's written, or like, he hadn't played them, and it would be. I was so typical of him to go to YouTube and call you, and that's what I heard when he did.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. And let me just tell you, just to set it up, as everyone who maybe doesn't play guitar a lot or doesn't like look into the music as deeply as I look into, or just anyone in 1992, Eddie Vedder was the face of Pearl Jam, right? And they've got some guitar player, too. But as time went on and as I became more aware of what I like in the music specifically, I really started to gravitate towards Stone because he just does stuff that makes me giggle. In Faithful, when it's like, that little note.
Yeah.
And then that one.
Yeah.
That gives me so much pleasure. And so I started to gravitate towards Stone as my favorite Beatle, so to speak.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And so it was just on a regular Tuesday, like any other Tuesday. I was watching my kid, and he had a friend over, and I get a text that said, "Hey Ryan, this is Stone Gossard. Thanks for just absolutely out of nowhere."
Yeah.
And I hope I didn't like too fanboy out on him to make him uncomfortable or anything. But it was a bigger moment that I was able to handle. I could do nothing but stand in the middle of the room for about an hour.
Oh, that's great. And
I couldn't talk. But then I since chilled out, and so I hope we're good.
I think it came across really well because I remember talking with him about it because I've heard it, and he was like, "Yeah, that was really good. That was really fun." And also I think because that, if I remember correctly, that's when we're going to do the Temple of the Dog tour, right?
No, it was after that. He needed to know how to play. He needed to know how to play "Preaching the End of the World" and "Can't Change Me" for the tribute, for the Chris Cornell tribute concert.
Oh, that's how it was. Yeah.
And I asked him because he came on my channel to teach Life Wasted.
Which I've seen. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And so I did Stone Week leading up, and I did a Stone Gossard song every day. I asked him, and this will tie into what you say. I asked him, is there a song of yours you'd enjoy watching me do? And so he said off of his album, Bore Me. You know, Bore Me off of his album?
Yeah. I hardly remember. Yeah.
It's got that thing going on. I don't remember.
Yeah. It's a long time since I heard that.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I've never been so like nervous making a video ever, and because I figured, you know, he knows it all, and it probably took me 7 hours to make that video because I had to get every last little thing. And then he goes, "Oh, thanks, man. I had no idea how to play that song."
Yeah. Yeah, and you really did it, and you really helped him there.
But that is, I mean, I'm because I've known. I mean, he's been really good to me. Like, I guess that I've had at least 100 people, or at least sort of, he giving me free tickets to go to shows all over the world, and a lot of people have met him, and it's always the same. It's that really like friendly, laid back attitude, but also really interested. Like, he's super interested if people are doing something like environmental aspect of buildings or something. Like, if somebody, you know, knows about stuff like that, he'll keep on asking questions, and like,
yeah,
but it's great, you know.
So I can just really see that you had a great time, and you had a real good laugh about it, and he learned those songs, you know, and it was fun.
And also because it's really important also that how this Chris Cornell story, I mean, how all that fits, and actually how close. I didn't actually realize that Stone and Chris was that close. Yeah, I mean, they were, but they really, he was.
Yeah.
He also wrote that statement afterwards, and I spoke to him about it, and I was actually, my original idea was actually, because I interviewed Chris quite a bit of times over the years, so that was actually my idea, to write a bio on him. You know, what ended up with the Kurt Cobain stuff was actually started out. That was the idea. Was Chris Cornell.
It's funny how
Stone said, "So you're gonna write about Chris? You know, I'd sure like to talk to you about that, and I think a lot of other people would." I was like, "Wow, you know, that's I like that comment, Stone. You know, could we put that on tape?" But then, you know, things change. That's not the direction, but it's but there's a real interaction there where you also play a part, because all that with Chris Cornell and the tribute and the, you know, both the music, but also that show and the friendship and the history and of course the tragic ending. I mean, that's a really important part of that history.
Yeah, I couldn't express in the English language how important it was for me to be there and watch Stone play the songs that I taught him how to, like, at that concert. That's like,
yeah.
I was just like, okay, and for real though, because like my goal was something, I didn't know what my goal was, but whatever my goal was in my whole YouTube thing, it was accomplished that day. So it kind of freed me up to start thinking forward and to new things now. So it was a blessing, and in so many ways, and such an honor to have some hand in that.
Yeah, happening. But that's true. I mean, I also had a little bit of a moment like that, and in 2014, I think it was, in Berlin, and I was there with 2 hours into the show, and it was great. Great outdoor shows at the amphitheater in Berlin, and all of a sudden Eddie Vedder started talking about me from the stage. It was like friends from the old Henrik, and say hello to Henrik, and friends of Susan, and friends in the old days. We were going through a lot together. We're still going through it, and I had no expectation of knowledge about that at all, and I was like, wow, you know. But I also had a bit like. I met Ed a couple of days later in Stockholm, and I said, you know, Ed, well, you know, you're trying to give me a heart attack. You know what's going on here? But I also had the feeling, like you said, like, okay, where do I go from now? You know?
Yeah.
I had this I was been on this Pearl Jam quest, and now he's
now Eddie is talking about me like this old friend and all we're going through from the stage, you know. So maybe this, should I write about something else? You know, is this if, you know, should I put like a full stop and then this is it?
Yeah, no, that was well said. Pearl Jam Fest. That was very well said. Oh my gosh, that was fun. This has been really fun. We have one more really important thing to take care of.
Okay. Food, sports.
No, it's just so I've. This was my first interview. First of all, how did I do?
I think you did really well. I think it's been a pleasure, and I was slightly surprised about the opening question, but I liked it. And now I'm actually really, I think it'll be really tasty for that Thai, that red curry with duck. And maybe I call my girlfriend and see, you know, maybe we should go. Maybe that's what we're going to do tonight. Maybe. And that has been a good interview.
That's amazing. So I'm calling my interviews, which, you know, who knows when the next one will be. It doesn't matter. But I'm calling this playlist. It's going to be called "Good Times with Crazy Friends." And the reason is I've got this thing, and I wrap up all my live streams with this song, and it's called "The Craziest Friends Theme Song." And so I'm going to officially induct you into the Craziest Friends Club, if you don't mind.
Wow. I would be honored to be in that club.
And here's how it's going to go. I'll show you how it goes, and you just have to say the very last line is all you.
Okay.
So I'll do it first, and then so it'll go like this. Undeniably, most decidedly, and then the craziest friends. Like that.
Okay. So I said the craziest friends. That's me.
The craziest friends. All right, here we go.
And it's like the Who fashion card. I really like the, you know, we got the windmill. It's like the Who is Pete Townsend block card. So I love that, you know.
Oh yeah, I'll stand. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Undeniably, most decidedly,
the craziest friends.
Beautiful. Well,
did I do well?
That was perfect. You're now a member for life. Henrik, this has been really amazing. I just want to stress, if there's anything I can ever do for you with my 45,000 YouTube subscribers, and if you ever get the chance to, you know, stop in Charlotte or elsewhere, pick Charlotte, and and we'll have lunch.
That I would love that, Ryan. I was thinking for sure we'll meet, you know, when the world opens up, because I also had I had great times, and I think, you know, as European, we really had the love and hate towards the States, and there's some parts we really love about it, and some we don't appreciate that much. But there's so many good people, and there's such a good spirit, and I'd love to come back, and for sure would love to go see the band again and meet people, and I would love to see you in Charlotte or somewhere, you know,
or anywhere, you know, whatever.
Just
heads up. We'll make it happen. We will make it happen.
And thanks a lot for. And if everybody, I can just, we have a book company called Captain Kid Books. We're not big, but we're there. We do exist, and if people wanna. Like you contacted me or through Kara, and if anybody else want to do that, or through Marie, my publisher who lives in Detroit, please do. And you know, I'd love to do more stuff like this.
Awesome, and let's meet up again. You know, in some months after your punk book, your Kurt Cobain book is cooking.
Yeah, I think there's just some stuff happening here. Whew.
Are we good? Did you lose me?
There's just some,
that's okay.
I think actually I did, Brian. I hear you.
Oh, okay, excellent. Well, that was perfect. It's the world telling us it's time to wrap up.
Yeah. That was it.
It was incredible. It was great to meet you. Thank you so much for this.
Well, likewise, Ryan. That was really a pleasure, and thanks for reaching out. And of course, like I said, you know, Maria can provide you with everything, and like we're releasing the
releasing the punk rock book now, and I think we'll emphasize Denmark a lot because I'm here and I can do events and things like that. But we'll for sure keep you in the loop, and if you're interested in doing something, and send you a book, or we'll just keep in contact.
Excellent. We shall.
Well, that's great. You know, I feel like I'm not sick anymore now. This is why I'm cured. You know, I'm gonna call these guys. I have that match I just canceled. I'm ready to play. You know,
Here we go.
I declined. I'm ready to play again. What was the score? 4-1. My serve.
That's awesome, Henrik.
That's
I hope you have a great day. Nice to see you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks a lot, and and great to see your family, and say hello to them, and if you see Carrie, give her a big hug. I'll write her, but give her a big hug and say thanks.
I will. I'm going to talk to her.
What you're allowed to, Corona hug, whatever that is.
Yeah, find the recipe. Find the soup recipe. And that about sums it up. Go enter the raffle or go purchase this book. Otherwise, it's phenomenal. I got my copy on Amazon. And for those of you who are here until the end, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed making it. And this is for you. Undeniably, most decidedly, the craziest